Hey there, it's Ben Crocker from the Threads podcast, Life Unfiltered. Recently, Eric Zane from the Eric Zane Show podcast invited Jason and I into the studio to record an episode of his podcast. After we recorded, Jason and I both thought it would be fun to release that interview as an episode on Threads, in addition to the Eric Zane Show podcast. Eric has a great way of interviewing his guests and getting the stories behind the story. So what you're about to listen to is a behind-the-scenes look at Threads Life Unfiltered hosts, Ben and Jason. Enjoy!
I am pleased to have in the studio two of the finest-looking podcasters in all of the business.
I don't know about that.
Ben and Jason from Threads Podcast. Jason comes in here, and Ben, I don't know if you noticed the machismo when he walked in the room with this amazing hair
But
and
growing
the
it out.
beard. I have never seen you look so fancy.
It's
Holy
true.
cow! Oh,
No, it's getting long.
you look like you should be, like serving chili to someone in a lodge.
It's the fanboy, I think. Here to get
No,
dressed up for
no,
Zane.
I did not get dressed up for you. I did not.
Has he gotten over that yet? Is that
Not
you
quite.
think no?
We're getting there.
Well, I call you Eric now when
Right.
I'm talking about you
Yeah.
instead of Zane. So I think that's a step.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, because you used to be like, Zane said this, Zane did
Well, you
this.
can call me either. I don't care.
I know, but
Are you thinking that it makes it less fanboyish when you just call me Eric?
correct?
Okay. All right. Okay, fine. I can live with that.
Yeah.
Ben, first question I have for you is: has anybody ever called you Cracker?
All the time.
Why is that? When you were growing up, was it like, "Hey, Cracker"?
Yeah.
Because it's
Cracker
Cracker.
Jack.
It's Cracker.
No.
It's not. It's Cracker.
It's Crocker.
It's Crocker.
There you
Like
go.
Betty.
Oh my God! I've
It rhymes with soccer.
well, shouldn't it be like Kroccer or Croccer? But it's Kraker, and it's Crocker.
Is it
Crocker.
Dutch?
It is Dutch German.
Okay. It sounds more German than
It's
Dutch.
very Aryan.
So my family traces its roots to the border between Germany and the Netherlands.
Okay.
So,
All right. Well, there
I'm
you
not really
go.
sure where
That's it.
exactly, but
What is going on in the world of podcasting that I need to know about from you two? Give me an update on the Threads podcast, because I know there's been a couple of things that have been bubbling out. You got a sponsor.
Not for Threads.
What?
No, that's for
No.
the rideshare.
That was for Rideshare. Okay.
Yeah, we
All
got
right,
a
because
couple.
people don't know, Rideshare podcast is entirely different about your second job or your first job, I guess.
Second job.
Second job.
Well, it's
And-
my first job now because I'm laid off. So
Damn it, I'm sorry.
no. I'm seasonal worker.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
so
do
every
lawn
year you expect
fertilization. So from March to October, I do full time with them.
Okay.
And then in the winter, well, I just do kind of gig work.
All right, good.
So
So, all right. So there's that podcast, and then there's, of course, Threads.
Right.
Tell me what's going on in Threads, please.
well, we just had Marcy on from
for episode 50.
And what is that? Losing a child, always Andy's mom.
Yep.
Wait, what? Huh?
So
Super emotional podcast.
oh yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so she lost her son about a year ago or a year and a half
Who
ago.
is Marcy?
Marcy Larson, she is a pediatrician in the area. This was all over the news, so you probably heard it at some point, but
I
Marcy,
feel like an idiot because I haven't.
Well,
that's
there's
all
so
right.
much out there.
It's true. Marcy and her husband, Eric,
Yeah.
who's also a podcaster, lost their son in this tragic accident. And then Marcy, as part of her healing journey, could not find any podcasts about losing a child.
Wow.
So she
Yeah.
started one.
That is incredible.
And we got lucky enough to invite her to our podcast, and she said yes.
Oh my God!
So,
So I
that
bet
was
that was so that is probably one of the heaviest things you've ever
Oh,
spoken
ever,
on
yeah.
the
Yeah.
show. Not easy lifting. How did you prepare for such really, really emotional content? I'm curious.
I had been
I'd be scared to death.
Well, I had been binge listening to her podcast, so I kind of knew what to expect.
Yeah.
I heard Andy's story, and I'm like, well, she's going to cry. You know what I mean? And she did on our podcast as she was talking about it. So, her and Ben connected really well. Ben's had to deal with some grief, losing some foster kids way back in the day.
Okay.
So, I just kind of sat back actually,
Yeah.
and kind of listened, but it was really good.
Sometimes that's great. you
Yeah,
know?
and not having to talk the whole time, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Which I love to do, but Sometimes it's good to
Man.
Yeah.
So how much time did you spend with her? Good hour and a half, or
Yeah, it was about an hour and 40 minutes
Man.
recorded, plus, the before and after chatter.
Yep.
And her
Yep.
husband came too. So he was just kind of sitting on the sideline listening.
And her podcast, what is the name of her podcast?
Yeah, it's Losing a Child, Always Andy's Mom.
Man.
She's gonna go far. She's smart.
I bet, man.
And I'm kind of glad we got her on the going up.
And so is she, how long ago did this all take place?
August of 2018.
Yikes. Okay, so she's been doing
recent.
that, and that's probably helping her. It's been very therapeutic to talk about something like this. This is the type of thing where she invites people on who've experienced similar things.
Correct.
And gives them the chance to share their story.
Oh,
and then
that sounds incredible.
Feedback.
It's deep.
I'm sorry, you said she gives feedback?
Yep. So it's almost like a talk show where, Dr. Drew Pinsky or whoever it is, gives advice to his guests. It's kind of a similar format. They tell their story, and then Marcy just kind of shares from her journey and challenges people, and it's deep. It's like you can't. I have a hard time binge listening because it's so deep.
When it comes to your show, tell me the process about getting people on. Is it a struggle sometimes to figure out things to talk about and guests to have on and directions to take and chances to take?
Not really.
No.
I mean, he saw her on the news and he just messaged her and she's like, "Yep." So that was pretty easy. So I think it all depends on what the topic is, to get people on. But
I think you have a bigger arena to be in. It's like I would never have the stones to do that interview.
Yeah.
I would be so afraid that I wasn't able to conduct it appropriately, So I think that's great that you do that,
Yeah.
Well, I did bring up in the podcast, I said, I feel really bad that I made you, that you're crying. And she's like, no. This is okay. I love talking about Andy because I felt really bad towards the end. I'm just like, oh man, this lady's pretty broken
Well, you got to have the right person. I mean, and you didn't twist the arm to get her in there.
Oh, no.
So, if then you kind of have to take a step back that, hey, this is actually, in a weird way, probably going to help her. And the more, because if you think about it, the more people that know about the show, her show, on your show, and then you're talking about it on this show.
Yeah.
Well, it all kind of works, you know, in that special way that happens. Wow.
And she's been off work. She tried to go back early and couldn't do it, but she probably in the next couple of weeks, she said she'll be back at her office.
Which is impressive.
Okay.
And her husband's an anesthesiologist, and he has his podcast, and he talks about that kind of stuff. So,
Man,
I wouldn't listen to it. He gave me a card, but I'm like,
This guy was Johnny on the spot about his podcast.
Yeah, I asked him, I said, "Oh, you have a podcast too?" And he whips out a business card and hands it to me. I'm like, "All righty then. Good job."
So what is the subject of his? You don't
just deep, like
medical
and talking about, like, I don't know, there was last one I read, it was something about some medical issues in China, and I don't know, it's super deep. But
you ever listen to anybody and you're like, Jesus, you're too smart and it makes you feel stupid? Do you ever do that?
Yeah, my pastor at my old church, and that's why we left.
Oh, yeah? Mm-hmm. Wait a minute, I'm talking about podcast.
I know, but I'm just saying.
he didn't do a podcast.
No, he didn't,
Okay.
but it just was in my brain because it was his last service day. He decided to leave the church.
Man, occasionally I listen to somebody and I'm like, man, I'm stupid.
Yeah.
I listen to people and I'm like, God, here I am and I'm being an idiot, or I'm just making very
crude jokks,
not deep comments about anything. Why do people even bother? Listening to me?
Well, they need that relief,
I guess.
Sometimes. Well, like with her, I said I listened to 3 of them and I needed a break. I needed something funny.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so deep, and they're not that long, but you're just like, oh boy.
Yeah.
So,
man, yeah. So, okay, so that's kind of like the process for you. Do you guys have meetings or anything to say, hey, what do you think? Like, Ben, when you thought about having her on, did you approach Jason first?
Oh, yeah, I did. So we have an app called Telegram that we communicate on daily, hourly.
Voice messages. That's why I like voice messages.
Yes.
I know you hate them.
Oh, yeah. I get messages.
Zane bitches at me all the time. He loves to talk, but then on there he's like, you could have wrapped that up in like 6 seconds.
He leaves me like these long 3,000 syllable messages. I'm like, what are you doing, man? Come on.
Yeah, usually I do the same, but lately my messages have been short and sweet, and Jason pointed that out on the way over to
Yeah,
me.
we have an interesting relationship. Him and I fight a lot.
It's true.
Yeah. Well, you know how hard it is to have a partner.
Yeah.
I mean, and so
that is hard.
We are we kind of yin and yang, I think, because he's more sensitive and kind of a free thinker, and I'm just like a planner and like OCD, but we do fight a lot.
Are you the type that when things don't go exactly the way you're thinking that they should go, you get annoyed?
I just get I just get anxious.
Yeah.
And
Ben, can you read it on his face when it's going down that road?
I can read it in his voice, on his face.
Geez,
like,
okay.
oh boy.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm the instigator of a lot of things between the two of us.
Yeah, he's a silent bitch. Like he's just like just a little snark meter that comes in, and I'm just like, what are you doing?
Is it passive aggressive?
Yes,
absolutely.
Okay.
And I know it.
So
it's
that's your way of getting messages to him, like, hey, I'm not really that happy about this, so this is how it's
and I'm
be.
the guy like, just tell me straight up what's wrong. Like I'm just like, I do it too much, and he's like, hey man, that was a little aggressive, and where he just doesn't do it, and I'm like, just tell me if I pissed you off so we can fix it.
Imagine how my wife feels.
Oh, okay. All right. So basically, there's a little bit of Rubik's Cube in you that people got to figure out in order to get to the bottom of whatever the hell's going on.
Well, I think that's what makes
I can live with that.
And I think that's what makes our podcast good, because we're not the same. If it was just two NPR Bens, he calls himself NPR Ben.
Correction, that was a term you gave me.
Oh, I did? Well, then, double correction, that was from my wife.
Oh.
He calls himself NPR Ben.
He did
and you said, no, you called me that.
He did a solo episode once, and
did.
it was very NPR. It wasn't bad, but it was very like, hi, this is
Well,
Ben.
This is
I
Ben
mean,
Crocker from the Threads podcast.
Ben has, he's got a style that's all his own, and and you've embraced that, and
Absolutely.
that's kind of you. I can already sense just in the 10 minutes that we've been talking, you've developed more chemistry.
Oh, for
I
sure.
really
Oh,
believe
yeah.
that. Just in the short amount of time, you don't talk over each other. You're much more patient, and not that you weren't before. It was bad when I spoke to you before, but this is much better.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have fun with it, and I think doing the Rideshare podcast, I don't know, it's good practice for Threads.
And that one's so much fun. We recorded on the night before Halloween, and it was just the
riot.
best. We had so much fun. We just rip on each other.
Yeah.
There's 4 of us, 3 dudes and a girl.
And you two are in the same spot, or are they all in the same? Or is
All
everybody
in my
all in the
basement.
same spot? Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's just, that's our Let Loose podcast, and Threads is just a little deeper, So
Of course.
I mean,
I take Threads far more seriously than I do GR Rideshare.
yeah, unfortunately, and I take GR Rideshare very seriously because I
Yes.
want to grow it.
Okay.
Because we have sponsors, and rightfully so. It's just not I'm not as passionate about that show as I am about Threads.
Okay.
So
I feel like as soon as
Whatever works, man. Yeah.
Well, at least as soon as you start getting sponsors, it becomes a little more serious. You got to be accountable for, hey, I got to get this ad up once a week. I've kind of took your model of how you do things, and that's how I do it.
fanboy.
No, it's a mentor, you dummy. Fanboy.
Buddy, he's got that on you. Oh, wow.
See? Yeah,
He's got that one on you.
Did you
He
see
knows-
me how I went like,
Yeah,
hey?
he cut right to you, man. Right in deep.
So, but yeah, we've done 50 episode. We did take your suggestion and are doing off weeks with our wives. You didn't specifically.
You just said weekly.
Weekly podcasting. You told us would be better.
Yeah.
So
we
we
used
did.
to be every other.
Yeah.
We had to
Okay.
wait 14 days for the next episode.
Okay.
So now on the off weeks, we sit down with our wives and kind of just break down the episode before. So, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
So-
I'd say that consistency is the key. That's the one thing that I hear that there's 2 super important things: consistency, and I got to do a better job at this, and that is making more friends in the podcast world,
Yes.
and then getting on their podcast.
Hey, come to the conference in
Yeah.
August. I'm going to Podcast Movement.
Is
I'm
that
super-
right?
Yeah.
That's I know a lot of people. I know the guys that put that on.
Do you?
Fred and Bill Jacobs.
Okay.
Yeah, they're in Detroit, and they put on the podcast movement, and that is, from all accounts, a terrific event.
Yeah, it's the biggest one right now.
Yeah, it
I
really
didn't go
is.
this year, but I have a buddy that we met through rideshare driving. That
Yeah.
I got him into podcast. That's a super goal of mine too, is get people into podcasting.
Yep. Okay.
I'm not like, how you talked about radio, how everyone's, you talked about with Andy O'Reilly, how is that the right?
Yep.
Okay. That, there's a lot of bickering going on. But I was like, there's a lot of people out there.
Yeah.
Like I want to support people that want a podcast.
Yeah, I think it's a great move. And where is it going to be, the podcast? The next one?
Well, they always
have they said
they always
Orlando.
No.
That was the most recent.
That was the most recent. It's Dallas, Texas, in the middle of August, or the beginning of August. So they picked the cheapest time to go because no one wants to go to Texas in August.
Yes. Okay.
But no, they had early bird. It was $200 for the ticket, so I bought it. And
to actually get into or for the plane.
No, for the to get in the conference.
Okay, to get in
and the plane tickets right now are only like $320 round trip out of GR straight shot.
Wow,
and good times. So
that's nice. Terrific.
I'm thinking,
you'll get a lot out of that. I don't know what's keeping me from it. Honestly, you know what's keeping me from it? I'm like, anytime I go to something like that, I'm not here.
I know.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I know.
Considering that this is most of my livelihood,
Right.
90% of my livelihood, I hate to think that there's even moments wasted where I can't be rat-a-tat-tatting or calling or doing something, recording something.
I think I like it when you kind of take it on the road. I mean, I know there was a shit show when you went to Detroit.
Yeah.
It's so and I like that as a
Thank
listener.
you.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
it's a
listen
change.
I
It's a
listen
change.
every day. So yeah, can be a little janky, but everyone gets it, and I
Right.
think it's fun. I don't know.
Now, do you get all of the content via audio, or do you get some of it on Facebook, or what? How do you consume?
Well, I used to watch a little bit on Facebook, but now that it's in the morning,
Yep.
I don't. It's pretty much all MP3.
Okay.
Even the Patreon. I know I'm a $10 subscriber, but I don't watch any of the videos.
Thank you very much.
I just don't have the time.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I
no.
appreciate you listening. You got to take the time to watch the music review, though. Did you watch the music review of
No.
Ram Jam's Black Betty?
No.
Okay. I put the music video like on the computer, and I put the camera right here pointed at it.
Yeah.
And then all of the sound from the music video is recorded onto
Okay.
the video and my mic.
Okay.
So then I pull up a ridiculous video of some stupid band
And you
then
just talk about
and
it?
then I make fun of it for
Oh.
3.5 minutes. So
No, I haven't looked at that yet.
the trouble with Patreon is once you put it up, it's blog style. So the next one bumps it down.
Oh,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? So it's
Yeah. Yeah, I just do the audio, so.
So, well, that is, in fact, I think I'm going to be going on the road a week from today, up north to record up there.
Okay.
I got to get up there. And there's a couple things I got to do to get ready for the cold months in the
Yeah.
winter. But I'm like, I don't want to stop podcasting, so I'll just record it. But then I can't. In order to get it to go online, I have to drive into town and
Yes.
hit upload.
Yes.
You have no cell service
No,
out there?
it's
Nothing?
bad. It's really bad.
So is this like a McDonald's parking lot?
Pretty
or-
much.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty much. So I'll do it in the trailer, and then once it's recorded, I'll save it all. I'll do all the way I need to do, and then I'm driving up to a McDonald's, rat-a-tat-tat, boom.
Yeah.
It's right. It's just down the road from Q100, that radio station
Okay.
that I do the Insane Asylum show on.
All right, cool.
So
Yeah, I want to talk about the chili cook-off. I'm super excited.
yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, Megan brought all the ingredients this weekend, so
Yeah.
we're gonna do it.
Well,
I'm so having fun to hang out with everyone.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it too. I love seeing all the faces.
Yeah,
and, and
this will be my first going out
Yeah.
to. It's so busy. It's tough to.
I
do
know
stuff.
it. I know it. And it's come as you are. You don't have to be there at the beginning.
Right,
you don't
right,
have to
right.
be there for the whole time. But I'm going to get there right at the start, and I've got 2 chilies, traditional and white. What are you doing?
We're doing traditional.
Okay. Now you're in the competition.
I thought we couldn't win because we're advertisers.
Did I say that?
And you didn't, but I just assumed.
No, you
Okay.
can win.
I created
No,
my own
I'm
story.
the only one. Henry and I are the only ones that can't win.
Okay.
There's the trophy.
Yeah, I know. I saw it. It's
Okay.
pretty badass.
Yeah, you know what? The thing's got some thud to it.
Let's see.
Oh,
Oh
that's
yeah,
a great
that's it, right?
trophy.
I heard that.
A no on the podcast. That is cool.
Knowing me, I'll leave it here. On the day.
Oh yeah, Diana,
You got to do me a favor.
it's right around the corner. Bring it.
So yeah, that's going to be fun, and I'm happy that the VFW or the American Legion opened up their doors for us.
Yeah.
So it was really, really cool.
Yeah, it's really close to me too. So
Is it? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I
It's
live
not
right in
far at all.
Granville, so it's a stone throw.
Just up the road.
So.
Okay, so where do you see this thing going? Threads podcast. I mean, is it week by week for you? Because that's what I do. I'm always like, I struggle to come up with long-term plans.
Sure.
And I don't know what that says about me. I'm hoping somebody who knows a little bit about things will say that's the sign of a genius. But to me, it's just I don't have any real idea what I'm doing. It just kind of comes to me. How do you explain, or maybe express yourselves.
Yeah. So the way it's been going is I kind of made a spreadsheet for the year. And these are the topics that we want to go over.
Not a nerd. Don't call him a nerd. I
use
this.
them too.
Shut up. Sorry. Go ahead, Ben.
It's a Google sheet that we share between us, and then as we have ideas, we can put them on there, things we want to talk about. So that is done through 2019. We haven't really talked about what's going to happen in 2020.
Yeah, but you're that far ahead though.
Oh yeah.
That's great.
So
when it comes to doing the show, do you guys ever do something that's out of character? Like, Ben, do you ever say something that the audience might go, oh my God, I can't believe he said that? Does that ever happen? You know what I mean?
And
for you,
it has
does
happened.
Does it cause someone to say anything or make you like, wait, what was that?
Yeah.
You know?
So let's go back to when we had Sam, the transgender student, on.
Oh, that was huge for you guys.
Oh,
that was a
word.
terrific topic.
It was.
And there was a lot of people that were really moved by that. You helped a lot of people with that podcast.
And I mean, it's thanks to you in part. Here's my fanboy moment. But there was a connection. Somebody had heard of Threads through your podcast.
That's right.
And they heard that you had mentioned the story. So they found us and tuned in and said, hey, Sam, you should take a listen to this. And so she did. And the rest is kind of history. But on that podcast, I did kind of go outside of my norm. And I made some pretty firm black and white statements about how God made us male and female. And there's not room for this.
While Sam was with you?
No.
Okay.
This is the episode.
Oh, and the one that Sam did listen to that wasn't
she
there.
listened to, yes.
Okay.
So that was definitely one of those times where I felt like I had to eat my words a little bit. And
after you got to know Sam?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Wow, that's a big thing. But when you said what you said, that's how you felt at the time.
Absolutely. And I think there's still...
Yeah, you still feel that way.
I feel that way, but I feel like I have more of an understanding.
Right.
That you can't just put labels on people. Like, all these labels, they only serve to categorize people and put them into convenient little places and compartmentalize. But when you do that, you're taking away their personhood. The fact that these are actual people with feelings, hobbies, emotions, jobs, whatever. And you're like putting those into just the category of gay, straight, transgender, etc. And when you do that, I feel like, for me at least, I was losing sight of the fact that these are people, like me.
When you were saying what you were saying, did you get a feeling like, I think I'm in the deep end?
Yes.
Like you know what I'm talking about, because I've done that too.
Oh yeah, I was like,
Jason called me out. He's like, really?
I was like, ooh, boy. Like when
were you calling him out because he said it or because he believes that? Because there's a difference. I mean, because if he believes it,
we both have different beliefs.
But if he voices it, it's an entirely different thing.
Him and I don't really see eye to eye on that.
Okay.
I'm just kind of like, whatever. Everyone can do their own thing. I don't really care. I mean, yes, does it go against what it says in the Bible? Yeah, but I mean, that was written a billion years ago. So
when you heard it, you were like, all right, it's tricky. Now it's a really tricky thing that we're talking about.
Well, yeah, I felt like he kind of was. I was like,
by the way, I'm not judging you for saying that at all.
I did kind of go, ooh, man, I wouldn't have said that. But, he's his own person. I'm not going to judge him for what he says and what he believes in. And
I mean, our whole show, the tagline of our show from the very beginning has been Life Unfiltered.
There you go.
So I'm going to bring it.
And sometimes
it gets ugly.
Sometimes you step in it, and you just kind of gotta.
What is it a mistake to believe that, or was it a mistake, or did you not make a mistake, or was it a mistake to say it?
I think
was there anything that you did wrong that you think?
I will say that I did not have any sensitivity towards the person known as Sam. And
prior to.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh-huh.
So when I was addressing that story, I didn't have a picture of a person in my mind. I had a picture of an issue.
Yes.
Of a hot button issue that divides us. And I was giving my input about the issue, overlooking the fact that there's Sam, the person at the center of the story, is a real live person with feelings. And I was like, oh shit. When I found out that she had tuned in and listened to it, it's like,
and then when Sam is there, are you still walled off at the start of the podcast and then it kind of crumbles by the end of it?
What do you think for me?
Well, thanks.
I don't know. I don't remember. I feel like
did you feel like this was more of a person and less an issue as the conversation began between you?
Yes.
Or was it just because you were concerned that somebody heard what you had said? You know what I mean?
There was definitely a level of, oh boy.
Well, you're
anxiety.
I think you're hypersensitive about people finding out stuff anyway.
Because I'm like that too. If I say something, even if it's in joking or if I'm serious, sometimes I do that too. Like, oh shit, there is someone listening.
Yep.
Oh boy, now what?
Yeah.
So I'm with you on.
Well,
that.
you're just rolling the dice that you're not going to see him in public and have that awkward
Exactly.
interaction.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
that's
exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And that was the moment where I was like, whoa, this thing is getting out. It's like, it's beyond my control. People are tuning in and finding out about us. It was definitely a reality check of, I got to watch what I say.
Sure.
And so now I feel like before we even start recording, we just kind of go through a laundry list of, we're not going to talk about this on the podcast.
Sure. And I think that feeling you got of being in the deep end, that's your instinct. And it'll direct you. And 95% of the time you'll do the right thing. Or you'll say the right thing.
I think he's still sticking to his belief, but he's just a little bit.
You can.
It's just, and we're Life Unfiltered, but there is some showmanship. I mean, you don't want to say. If I said exactly what was on my mind, it wouldn't last very long.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Ben's not malicious or mean when he expresses himself. So it's, to me, that is acceptable in the world. And whoever is either is not transgender or is transgender, better respect what he says as a human being because he's doing it in an intelligent way.
Right.
So I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you take the good with the bad or the bad with the good. And I'm not saying anyone's good, bad, or good in this. It's just there's going to be a yin and a yang.
Well, I feel like the society has switched because the people that maybe feel like the way Ben is actually you get crapped on a lot. You know what I mean? You're not woke or whatever that term is of being like.
And that's the opposite. Yeah, that's no good either.
No.
When people do that.
I know. So I feel like it's kind of switched. It used to be like, oh, you don't talk about that. But now the belief that you have, and it's not a bad thing. We're like kind of singling Ben out, but I just think that it's just switched.
Yeah.
And
well, I'm glad he shared it though, because
sure.
I think you just did. I mean, you to sit here and explain yourself like that about something and to show that vulnerability is something you did and how you felt. That's huge, man.
Yeah.
People can relate to that. That is all about it. Now, Jason, what about you, man? Because you kind of wear it on your sleeve all the time. So is it, do you ever say something that you're like, man, I don't know, similar to what I asked Ben?
I don't think I've ever gotten done and said, ooh, I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, again, I try to, I try to keep it level, even keel. I mean, we don't really fight on the podcast.
No.
We had one that just a couple weeks ago that we argued a little bit, which was fun.
That was a lot of
I
fun.
love to argue.
Oh,
So
man,
it was like, was it real heat or was it?
Well, it was heat earlier in the day to
Yes.
the point where I said, we're podcasting tonight. I'm done talking to you for the rest of the day.
I said that.
Oh, well, one of us did.
How could you mess that up?
I don't know. I was so hot about it.
I said that. No, I said that.
Yeah.
This is what it's like between us.
Yeah.
I was so bad I told him to go F himself. No, I told you to go F yourself. Ah!
I wanted to tell him to F himself. So it was all, what was it about? Charity?
Yes. So we had a big debate
Yeah, about
going
charity.
among the
Charity.
I know, right?
Of all the things to fight about.
This is the level of depth we're at or something. I don't know. So on the other podcast we do, the GR Rideshare Adventures, we were connecting with one of the drivers who's just going through a rough time financially. And in a lot of other ways. And he was very much a downer of a guy. And Jason had this idea of, let's use some of our business money to help him out. And I was like, hell no.
Committed on the air that way? Like,
No. This was privately.
This is all in our private chat amongst the four partners. And I was not having it. I was adamant, like, no, that is not how you help somebody. Just giving them money isn't going to do anything. And
Okay. Yep.
And I had a different, I just think, maybe this is what a couple $100 to help him fix his car. Maybe this is just what he needs to get out of it. So we argued back and forth over that messaging app, Telegram, and then finally he made me so mad.
Oh yeah,
like I was so mad. Like,
well, at one point, Jason said he gives because it makes him feel good. So I jumped on that hard, and I was like, "So the only reason you want to help this dude is because you want to feel good?" He turned.
Oh, no!
Yeah, I know. He turned my words around. I'm like, "Oh man!" So that we talked about that in the podcast, and
we worked it out,
sort of.
Well, I can honestly say that type of discussion, I don't recall anything that interpersonal ever happening to me and anyone I've ever worked with. I mean, that's serious. I mean,
but remember, we're friends outside of it,
right?
So,
I know, but I think that type of drama, people in a lot of ways like to hear that, as long as it's not screwed up and awkward. You know what I mean?
Right.
As long as, and I'm sure you did do it fine. I didn't hear it, but I'm just saying that's really good, though, that you can actually break that stuff down.
Well, I was excited that we were recording that night. That's why we kind of apparently you told me to stop. I thought I did it, but I thought, okay, cool. We can break. This would be great for the podcast because it's a good topic to talk about.
I think it was one of those. And another thing, you had ended it, but then
he brought it back up.
I took it a step further, and then at that point I said, and we'll finish this on the podcast tonight.
Wow. Hearing you guys discuss these things...
There's a lot of behind the scenes.
Brings back in several different realms for me of professional career. Just those, wow. And because it's been so long it's been 10 months since I had to work with another person. And then before that with Free Beer and Hot Wings. And I do not miss any of these moments. I really don't.
No.
I so cherish the lone wolf.
Yeah.
I mean, I really do.
There's something.
I don't have to worry about anything like that. I think you two need each other, and I think you're very good with each other, and I think you're the right people to work together with each other. But when it comes to God, sometimes I'm just like, I can't do it. I just can't do it.
No, there's a lot of moving parts, and even at the other podcast, there's 4 of us, so there's a lot of emotions, and it's tough. But I like having the 4 to get the workload done, but the way you have it, it's great because you're like, this is what it is. I'll do what the hell I want. You know what I mean? It's like if somebody I'm pissing myself off. That's the only thing I'm going to do.
And we have one member who just loves to vote on everything, and it's like we can't make a decision to tie our shoes.
We're actually an LLC, so there's voting rights. You know what I mean?
But there's 4.
There's 4.
Well, what if you go 2-2?
Well, yeah, we haven't discussed how we're going to do it.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Well, I think it just, that's a good point, because what if it's really important?
I know.
You got to have an odd number.
No. Well, then we just message each other on the side and try to sway.
It's like Survivor. It's like, did you hear Rudy died? Did you hear Rudy died from Survivor?
Is that the guy, the tax guy?
That's the old man.
Oh, no, I didn't hear. Is that recent?
It's probably beyond you. It's probably a little out of your wheelhouse because I'm older than you guys.
Well, not much.
What are you, like 31?
I'm 43.
Okay.
I'm 35.
All right.
I mean, you're
35.
You're going to be
that's sweet.
50? You're 49?
50 in July.
Okay.
I had the nicest thing happen to me yesterday. I was at this fundraiser, and I was talking with these people that were listening. There were listeners, and and we got on the topic of age or something like that. They said, "How old are you?" And they said, "I said 49." They go, "Oh my God!" And they made a big deal, and I'm like, "Wait, what?" They go, "Oh, you don't look like you're 40. You look like you're 40." And then they said 6, and I went, "Well, that's not that big of a deal."
3 years.
3 years.
3 years when you're 6 is big, but not when you're 50.
I know. At first, I was all excited, then I was like, "Ah, shit." It's not that great. Shut up.
Nice.
So I do have to ask about the Beastie Boy thing.
Oh, dude.
Tell me you had to have been pissed. A little bit.
No, the only thing I did
and not pissed at them, but just...
No, I wasn't. I wasn't because, first of all, I was so scared. I was legit
Oh, no, I could hear it in your voice.
That something was that this was I was going to be worried and then that I would do something wrong or upset people that were famous. So there was that. I did feel dumb.
Okay.
I felt dumb, and I haven't really said that. I felt dumb by the time I got home and settled down.
Yeah, dumb that I
didn't sniff it. That I was so blind that I had no idea.
No, I don't.
But they did a really good job.
I don't think you should feel dumb. It sounded like that was pretty elaborate.
The stars aligned, and I was I was also blinded by the excitement of that.
That's why it's a perfect opportunity.
I'm sitting there trying to figure it out, and they took a couple steps, little nuances and things to throw me off, and I bit hard. It was crazy. But just all of the social media that I was saying, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be the Beastie Boys.
I know. You talked about it almost every day that week.
I was so stoked. And I was like, I can't believe this has happened to me, man. And then that was that. So, but no, I wasn't pissed.
No, I know. I would have been pissed.
People were worried about me being pissed.
Not pissed at them, but just pissed that like you could have had that opportunity.
Yes, that's
and
exactly
that
why.
Missed. Yeah.
Jason, who is Andrea's husband, he was. I mean, he's a. Oh, we got Benny's in here. Hey, Benny.
Hello, puppy.
What's up, buddy?
This is rare. He doesn't come into the room.
Really?
Ever.
Hey, bud.
He must. He went right over to Ben, too.
Got the tail wagging.
Your sensitivity. He loves you guys. That is awesome.
He's a good boy.
So
all right.
There was Jason was like, I'm out. I'm not doing it. I don't want to be part of this. He's really going to be upset.
Right.
And then so that was kind of like a real concern for those folks when they were getting whole thing ready.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't think you would be mad at them, but just losing the opportunity.
Yeah. Jason said he didn't want to see me heartbroken.
Oh.
Because I was so
you were
so bit hard.
So excited about that.
God.
So,
all right. Well, what else? Is there anything I'm missing? Because I love getting you guys in here. We got to do this more often. I want to do a thing where I have more podcasters on, because it seems like that is a resource that is completely neglected.
I'm telling you, I told you that bit to do the lose podcast review. I mean, not have people. I mean, well, you kind of did that with like Waylon the band. They had to bring them breakfast or whatever. Like, you get them on and they get a little exposure, but you can kind of rip them. You don't want to do that.
No, I don't want to. It's different when if I just sit here and review a podcast and then let them have it. I guess maybe it's Eric's a little older. He's with those people probably fighting the fight similarly to what I'm fighting.
Yeah, I get it.
It might be a little weird. Now, if I know him, that's one thing. Right. I mean, I let Stu have it all the time.
Oh gosh, poor Stu.
But I don't know. I think in the. Did you just get a booger?
Snotted up.
Oh no! The audience heard that. Oh no! Hold on,
Benny.
Did a booger fly actually out of his nose?
Oh, yeah, it's a little stream.
Oh, God.
Well, you don't have to wipe it up. I don't care. I got dogs.
Oh, Jesus.
It's a string.
God, Benny. Oh, God. What are you doing?
Eric's wiping it off with a poop bag. Benny.
Arm.
And Benny
Bye,
left.
Benny.
He's like, I snotted.
Thank
I'm out.
God. Holy shit. Jesus.
Oh, there you go. So, no, I want to go back to our progress. You had brought up like our schedule or whatever, and Ben kind of said how we planned it. But yeah, we want to grow it. I would love to be to do this for work. I really enjoy it. I've listened to podcasts. I know that's
for work. Make this for a full-time job.
Yeah. And I my wife, has a full-time job, makes decent money, so I can afford a little bit to not make as much as I do now.
Yeah.
But I know that's not in the cards probably, but that's my big dream.
Let's reconvene in 1 month, and each of us, your show and my show, has to be on another podcast between now and then.
Oh,
really?
Ben.
It's a challenge. Doesn't matter who.
Can one of us be on a podcast and the other one not? There's been an invitation.
As long as we can come back here and talk about it.
Okay.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing.
Or we can do who can be on the most podcasts between now and then.
Do not challenge me.
The reason why I say that is because that's the quickest way to grow
build.
your audience.
It
Because
is.
if Joe Schmo has 1,000 people listening to him, and suddenly you're on, some of those people are going to listen to your podcast.
Oh, yeah.
So make sure you got a good one ready to go, and,
Right.
and then keep doing that.
Yeah,
That gets easy All it takes is your time. That's the only cost.
Yes.
I wish I did more of that.
Yeah, because it is cheap. Advertising is expensive. It can be expensive.
It is.
So that's really not. I mean, we don't make any money on it. Like, we're taking this out of our regular budgets to spend money. So
I know.
But I like that. I like that idea. That might be good.
Eric Zane Show podcast challenge.
There you go. I was invited to be on Marcy's podcast about losing a child. Now I haven't. Thank God I haven't lost a child by death, but my wife and I were foster parents for a good part of our 20s, and we had cared for a sibling group of 3 and
for a long time.
2.5 years.
Oh, that's
a long time.
Yeah, 2.5 years when you're a kid. That's a long time.
Wow. So you have to care for them, and do you somehow have to keep it like where you're taking care of them, but not family, loving them like a father would? You know what I mean? So that you
can't
just
do that.
You
I mean,
can't.
you
You
really
just got to
can't.
be. You got to be dad, and then the trade off is you're going to get hurt.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. There's no. You can't be a tough guy and only half love them.
Exactly. You just can't. I mean, and that's the nature
tough.
of foster care, and that's what we were told from the get-go, that you are going to love these kids as if they're your own. You can't help that. That's just it's your nature as a parent to do that. So we did. But then we received word from the court system that the biological parents' rights were being terminated. So we're like, whoa, we can actually adopt these kids and make them part of our family. So once we had that authorization, we did start. I mean, we changed their names with the school, and
When you, I need to clarify something. Did you change their last name?
I mean, we put it to ours, yes,
Right,
but it wasn't official with the court.
Right, Megan and I were asking if you had changed their first names.
We did change first names, and then they were enrolled at their school just to keep things less confusing. They used our last name once it was at that point.
This.
So
those children are your children right now.
they're not.
They're not your children.
That's the point of the grief.
Yeah.
I thought the grief was when you first, when the children were first, because they were taken from you, and then when the parental rights were taken away from biological parents, you wanted them back, right? Is that what you were telling me? Or was all of what you're telling me in the 2.5 years?
Just shut up and let him tell the story.
Damn it!
So we became foster parents and adopted our son through that, and then about, 9 or 10 months after our son came to us, caseworker came to us and said, we've got this sibling group of 3. So at one point in my life, I had 4 kids. It's crazy. So the sibling group of 3 came to us, and we loved them as our own. And then biological rights were terminated. So we're like, sweet, we're going to adopt them. We're going to be a family of 4 kids. Let's do it. And, but then within a period of about 9 months to a year after getting that approval, we learned that the biological parents had actually filed an appeal with the state and essentially asked the Supreme Court of Oregon to reinstate their parental rights. And for whatever crooked, crazy reason, the state of Oregon gave them back their parental rights, which meant we didn't have a leg to stand on. Kids are going back to parents.
So that's the grief that he's experiencing in 2.5 years, and all of a sudden, and then it's just like that. They're gone. And he never saw him again.
There's been no contact since.
Nope, we moved back.
What were the ages of these little ones at the time?
At the time when they came to us, when they left, they were, it's so hard to even remember.
I'm not going to make you cry, am I?
No, you're good.
All right. Damn it.
They were young.
Okay.
I mean,
wow, man.
young,
Yeah,
5 and under.
All right, man. So that's real. That is a real thing. Yikes! Well, yeah, you would be good on that. I think that would be very good. What is the name of her podcast again? Just so I can put it in the comments of this podcast.
Yes, it is Andy's. Or wait,
losing a child, always Andy's mom.
Thank you.
So
write it down.
Yeah, I like your challenge. I will do it. Okay. We'll do it. We'll try to get on someone else's podcast.
What is the date? Today's the 3rd.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll be. So that means by December 3rd.
Yeah.
December 3rd is the deadline for the Eric Zane Show podcast challenge.
I love it. I already got some in mind.
I don't.
They don't have to be in person though, right?
No.
We can do it over the phone or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what's fun? Skype.
Yeah, we've done that before. Man, I tell you what, getting Skype in with the live stream,
it's a beast.
It's a beast.
Yeah?
I mean, I don't know. I don't think I have my system exactly set up right, but it works now, and it's fine, and I don't want to mess with it, so... But we would, if you do it,
I don't plan on using it live.
Yeah, if you don't do it live with like the software that we use, it's fine. It will be perfect.
Is it because there's too much? It's affecting too much going into your computer.
Yeah, that's exactly what
we were
is.
talking about earlier with power. You don't have enough power in the computer.
No, it's I don't know. I don't want to bore people with it.
Sometimes the computer doesn't like it.
Yeah, it's a long story, but again, I'm learning all this from just whatever. I figure it out on my own and rack my head, and then I'm like, oh, it works. Let's not touch anything. Like the whole gremlin thing, I'm like, it's true. You can record, and he knows he can. You come down, and everything. You'll have one little thing off. I'm like, I didn't touch anything.
I know.
What the hell's going on? You're freaking out. You're like, you're just like.
I have had problems where that happened. So then I unplug every single thing, set everything on the ground, and reset it all up.
Really?
And then it works.
I've had it where one little thing is unplugged. Yeah. I may have caught it with my foot, and you just go click, and it's like.
Yeah, there was one episode.
I was wondering how you did that.
It's this one. It's this one right here.
The red one? Is that the aux?
Yeah.
I wonder if it works for you. Try it.
Hello, baby.
It's so weird to hear it inside your headphones.
I didn't know that. Ben, go ahead.
Hey, what's up?
Oh, man, when you figured that out, I laughed. It was so funny. I couldn't believe that.
Came out of left field.
You just happened to bump it, didn't you?
Hey, what's going on, man?
I'm like, what happened? Oh, my God. What happened?
Jesus is here.
Yeah, I was grabbing something. Jesus is here, yes.
It's more like the devil. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
This stupid little board that has all these different little functions on it. You can just...
yeah, we have that, too, and I'm not sure. Oh, that sounds weird.
Go ahead.
That sounds... Hey, baby. Wow.
Hello.
Hey. What's up? How you doing?
Well, all right. Have a great week. I'm so glad you guys came in here. This is a wonderful conversation. I want everybody to go check out Threads Podcast, Life Unfiltered, threadspodcast.com.
Yep.
Boy, yeah, get it all there. You can subscribe to the podcast and listen to your heart's content.
Yep.
Catch up on episodes.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Yep.